Today's podcast is brought to you by Quantrix Modeler Introductory Training, teaching the fundamental foundation that you need to become a Quantrix master. Go to quantrixauthority.com to learn more.
Show me how you do Quantrix.
Hey, welcome back to another Netcast. I'm Rich Lopez, Quantrix Authority. Sincerely appreciate you joining me for yet another episode of Quantrix Authority, episode number 200. It's a heck of a milestone. I've done 200 of these videos. I do hope that you found them useful. I've enjoyed making them because I absolutely love Quantrix. I sincerely appreciate all those who supported me and watched me since the beginning. And special thanks to the Quantrix team in Portland, Maine, as well as the IDBS team and in the UK. I really do appreciate their support and their encouragement. And really, Quantrix community, I appreciate your support, and I hope that you'll continue to reach out to me and ask me questions so that I can help you become a Quantrix master. Anyway, I wanted to show you something awesome for episode number 200. It's called a multiple condition select, or it's the select with a flying key. I have here a very basic model. What I want to do is I want to count how many units in this matrix 1 are less than an input value, less than or equal to some input value over here, and I want to exclude those that are equal to 0. Okay, so how can I do that? You may think, well, a select between might work, but it won't, because a select between would probably count zeros, or it may miss some negatives or even some positive numbers. A select less than will also not work, because a select less than does not ignore 0 values. Okay, so I want kind of this multiple criteria select. I want it to be less than this, and then I don't want it to equal 0. So how do you do that? You do that by simply writing a select statement. And I'm going to walk through it and show you how to write the statement, and then we're going to step through the dependency inspector where we're going to see what is going on and evaluate the formula step by step, and I hope it will make a lot of sense to you, because this is absolutely amazing what you can do. So I'm going to say this value right here in matrix 2, this cell in matrix 2, is equal to select. What do I want to select? I want to select the list of units. And what is my key list? This is where it starts to get a little tricky. And my key list is these guys that are less than or equal to this value. It is not only that, but it is also, so I'm going to put an and because there's another condition. So it's and where these guys do not equal 0, like that. Now what is going to happen is it's going to evaluate this part of the formula right here as ones and zeros, okay, for trues and falses where that criteria is met, and it's going to do the same thing right here. It's going to give me ones and zeros for true and falses where this criteria, or yes, where this criteria is met, okay. And what I want to do is I want to bring back where the criteria is true, where both of these conditions are satisfied. And in order for that to happen, I just simply need to place a 1 here for my lookup value, because that means true. I could put a 0 if I wanted to see where it was not true. And then I'm going to surround this by a count function, just like this, just like you typically would with, say, a select statement. Okay, and then what happens is I get a value of 6. So indeed, I have 3 here, and I have another 3 here, so that is 6 that are less than 4. If I were to go ahead and say, 1, I would expect this number to be 4 here, because I have 1 and then another 3 numbers here, which makes 4, that are less than this value and not equal to 1. So how is this working? Well, let's open up the dependency inspector and let's take a look. So what we have going on here, and I'm just going to tighten this up just a little bit here so you can see it, is as I hover here, you'll see that my list is 10 items, right? But here is where the magic starts to happen. I have a list of 10 items here of all the numbers as they're listed here, and then I have my input value, which is 1 here, and I'm evaluating them. So you can see that I have ones and zeros as listed. And maybe I'll clear this sort so it will maybe make just a little bit more sense if it's not to you. Okay, so let's go back to this. So I have ones and zeros being evaluated here. So are these less than the input value? All of them are, except for the last three, right? All of these are less than or equal to 1. So I should see across the first 7 or so items ones. And indeed, that is what I'm seeing right here. These first 7 items are indeed all ones, and then the last 3 are not because they're false. They don't meet this criteria of being less than right here, okay? And then what I do is I have an and for another criteria, and with it, I'm going to hover on it, and it's going to say, well, which ones are not equal to 0? Well, the first 3 aren't equal to 0, right? But all of the last 7, you know, they don't equal 0, so we're going to give them a 1, okay? And again, I see that up here. So then what happens is this and then combines the two. So it's really similar to a sum product if you're familiar with that function in Excel. And I've done a couple videos here on Quantrix Authority in relation to sum product. But then, so it's similar in how that works. But what it does is it then mashes it and says, well, which one of these meet both of the criteria? And as we look at that here, we can see that indeed there are only 4 kind of right in the middle of our array, and those are these 4 right here, that meet this criteria of being less than this and not equal to 0. And so what then happens is I am looking up in this array right here for just those ones, okay, which is just these guys. So I'm just selecting these guys that are 1 here, and that's what I'm stating right here in this lookup value argument. And when that criteria is met, it goes ahead and returns those as part of the select. As you can again see that, I got a -1, -2, and -3. And then what happens is the count is applied to that, and I get my number of 4. So that is how you do a multiple criteria select, or a select with flying keys in Quantrix, and it is powerful in its impact and its capabilities. So I encourage you to, file this one away, learn it, and look for ways that you can employ it. I absolutely love Quantrix. I want to make you a Quantrix master. I really do. And I hope that you'll join me for the next 100 or so episodes of Quantrix Authority with Rich Lopez.